keep you waiting. Love the t-shirts.
Good, how are you?
Apologies for the delay. We'll try to get this moving along. We're looking forward to presentation on the Bronxville Promise. But instead of my remarks, why don't we just go right into the meeting, since we've already taken up some time. And I think the first thing we'll do is need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are going to go to, I believe, the Bronxville Promise.
Yes, so the Bronxville Promise in action. Good evening, everybody. We're so pleased to have our first grade team with us this evening to present on their promise, their project that encompasses all of the dispositions of the promise. So, Rakia, would you like to introduce everybody?
Sure.
Okay, come on up.
I always think this is on and it's not. It is? Okay. So good evening, everyone. I'm so excited and thrilled to share or have presenting before us the first grade team. Before us we have Catherine Westerheim, Mrs. Joanne Novak, Alexa Krawick, Nicole Lepis, and Laura Matthews. They are our stellar first grade team who are here this evening to present an interesting spin on integrating their PBL unit, the project the recess project, along with their writing unit of study. So they'll go into more depth about that. I'm just excited to introduce them all.
Hi. All right, so click over to this next slide. Oh no. Yep, sorry. Okay. So I'm here to talk to you about the recess project. We combined our social studies PBL unit and our how-to writing unit, which was really exciting. So as first grade teachers, the recess project was inspired by the Bronxville Promise, and first grade teachers were noticing that, social challenges the kids have on the playground when they're interacting with their peers, and they do it daily during unstructured playtime, during structured playtime, having those conversations. So we decided to present this to the students so that as a community of learners, we could problem solve this together. And it also allowed the students to take ownership of the promise and the project when we had them try to solve the problems on the playground. So the project exemplifies the heart of the promise, and then participating in this project provided the opportunity for students to be compassionate, empathetic, and support each other through a common shared goal. Students were encouraged to collaborate and think critically about how an engaged citizen solves problems. They demonstrated leadership skills by proactively thinking about challenges that students face during recess, and they came up with innovative solutions. So here's the kids introducing the project to you.
I know him.
I'm not from first grade. In first grade, we were learning how to write how-to stories. In first grade, we are trying to stop our recess problems. To the practice goes and naked. We are making movies. The Promise Show picture house came in to take how-to videos. The videos all about how we can solve a recess problem. Our teachers are here to tell you all about it.
So clearly they can explain it better than we can. And they really took this on just like any researcher would. First, they generated a list of problems that they were having during recess. We just made a big list together, and they were just really honest about what they were seeing. And then we made a list of questions that we'd have for experts. And those experts, then we went and interviewed them. People like Mr. DiRienzo, recess monitors, Dr. Vastola, And we also read a lot of books, observations of other students playing at recess, and watching video clips of what it just means, what recess looks like. And using their research, they chose which solution they wanted to use for their own problem. And then,
Okay, so I'm gonna read. Students created a how-to video modeling their solutions. They used what they learned in their research and what they had learned about writing procedural texts and writing workshop. The videos will then be used at a B3 assembly to teach others about their research. The students will be having a special viewing of the videos at the Bronxville Picture House on December 3rd. We look forward to sharing the videos with the public soon after.
so some of the problems that the students brainstormed during their time was sometimes there's conflicts out on the playground that they're having trouble navigating, or sometimes friends don't have somebody to play with, or maybe they feel alone, or just being B3 on the playground all the time. What does that look like when it comes to being safe? So some of the solutions that they wanted to problem solve for their friends were how to use the peace path, which is outside, how to use the buddy bench, how to use the monkey bar safely, how to use all the playground equipment safely, and how to be B3 during recess. And the peace path, the buddy bench, and some of the new playground equipment are all other grants funded by the foundation as solution for previous years from the recess project. So it's really nice to see how students from previous years, how their thoughts have come together in fruition doing this project. And all of these problems directly correlate to how to be B3, which is our school-wide initiative to promote positive behavior, and it ties in with citizenship and back to the promise.
The Bronxville School Foundation has generously funded a grant for the Bronxville Picture House to come in and work with our students. They filmed each class of first graders acting out their solutions of their recess problems, and during the process of filming, students got to try their hands at acting, filmmaking, and also being a director, and also voice acting. The kids had an amazing experience with this, so thank you.
Thank you.
So thanks again to the Bronxville School Foundation, who have generously supported this project throughout the years that we've been doing it. I think that one of the first years we did it, that was the year the new playground equipment came, and we got to play, the kids that year got to play a role in selecting that equipment, and then like the Peace Path was a part of the foundation grants, like Miss Matthew says, as well as the buddy bench years ago. So thanks again, and that was our project.
Thank you
you.
so much. One thing quickly. Nope, I don't know if we have questions, but I just want to thank you. We appreciate you coming after a long day, and I don't know about the rest of you, but you make me want to go back to first grade.
Welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you, team first grade.
And a
Thank
special
you.
shout out to Stacy Bilgaray, who is here in spirit, and she'd be so proud of your presentation tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think we're moving on to the information technology audit. Brad is not here tonight. Dan is pinch hitting. I believe.
Yes. This is a required focus area audit. It was begun back in May, finished up over the summer. We received the report in September. It was presented to the audit committee by Cherry Beckart, who is our internal auditor, on Tuesday, November 19th, and it was very thorough. We're not having them present publicly because there are some sensitive security issues involved, but the auditors did say that we are doing well compared to most districts. As Michael mentioned, Brad Ashley was their key contact, and responded within the report with the action plan for any findings. And we are asking the board to accept the report and the action plan contained within the audit report. And next month, Brad will be in executive session if there's any questions
Okay,
or concerns.
thank you. Do I have a motion to accept this report?
motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have anything you want to add, Pete?
No,
Please.
I think the audit committee had a lot of questions, and Brad was just as usual on top of everything. And you know, there are some areas where we have deficiencies. There's some areas that some of the recommendations are more like a business decision, not really an IT decision. So it was very thorough. We had a ton of questions, and the auditors and Brad had answers for all of them. So
Excellent. Thank you.
well done.
Thank you. All right, now we're gonna adjourn to a public hearing. We're gonna stay right here. It's just a formality. So we need to talk about the veterans exemption, and I want to preface this.
Couple of slides.
Yeah, so I want to just, as you're bringing them up, I just want to thank Susan Kniff here, who was our former president, who really was a pit bull, or I'm saying, really held on to this and really pushed to get this done. I know Dan has been a tremendous resource, but I think it's something that we all really value on the board, so thank you for your work.
Yep, we're seeking to mirror what the village is currently doing to provide small tax exemptions to our veterans. There's 50 or so exemptions for about 30 veterans out there. There's a $24,000 exemption for a veteran, $40,000 for combat veteran, and $80,000 for disabled veteran. If you can go to the next slide, yeah. I presented this slide last week. The math on this slide means that a little less than 0.1% of the levy would be redistributed to non-veterans or people non-eligible for this exemption. Or it's about $25 on a $2 million home. You know, do the math. It's a $4 million home. It would be about $50. We are first doing a public hearing, and then after the public hearing, the board will then act on a resolution, and if approved, it will be in place for the 2025-2026 assessment roll when it comes out at the end of January.
Okay, so this is a time for public comment. We invite any public comment.
I'll say something really quick.
Please, just
go up to the lectern?
Sure, why not? You could and please identify yourself.
Sure. Jason Johnson, village resident for 11 years. Proud village resident. Appreciate you guys giving this consideration for acknowledging veterans. I am a Marine Corps veteran, 8 years in the Marine Corps, served overseas, Iraq, Djibouti, missions associated with Afghanistan. And so I'm an even prouder resident after tonight. So I appreciate you guys giving this consideration. I appreciate you being a pit bull on this. It's nice to meet you. And for anyone else, in support of this resolution, thank you in advance. That's it.
Jason, thank you
Thank
for
you
your
for your
service.
service.
Thank you for your service.
And we thank you, Jace, for your service, and to other residents who have served. I think I mentioned the last meeting, I'm 4 generations of my family have served, so I'm very proud of this as well. We try to get it by November 11th. That was the intent, right? We missed it by 10 days.
Close.
But we're, close enough, like horseshoes. So do we have any other comments from anybody else on the board before we put this up for vote? Okay.
Do we have to adjourn the hearing?
Yes, we're gonna first.
At 7:33 p.m. and reconvene the public session.
Thank you. We're gonna reconvene the public session now, after adjourning the public hearing. But now what we're gonna do is to consider the alternative veterans tax exemption. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well done, thank you. All right, on to Dr. Kelly. I think we're on to your report.
Great, thank you so much. I'm so pleased that we were able to honor Veterans Day this month by our Board of Education approving the Veterans Tax Exemption. Thank you to all of our Bronxville residents who have served and who continue to serve on our behalf. Also this evening, the board will be considering an off-cycle foundation grant through the Harris Social Studies Designated Fund, which will cover the expenses of a book profiling our local veterans, written by one of our juniors, James Ney. And he intends to share the copies of his book with every sixth grader, following a lesson that he will lead alongside Mr. McCora in a full grade assembly. In addition, he is working with Joe McCora, the middle school principal, on inviting veterans in to speak to all of our middle school students. Related to this, thanks to the elementary school PTA under the leadership of Emily Stone, a new tradition began this year in celebration of Veterans Day. Upon arrival to school, students shared photos of veterans who, of their loved ones or friends who have served, and we displayed those on the playground leading up to Veterans Day. It was a wonderful moment to honor the men and women who have served our country. Also in the elementary school, the student council, led by fifth grade teacher Miss Susan Engelhart, is currently collecting non-perishable food items for Feeding Westchester in their fight against hunger. Students have been outside during morning arrival, collecting goods to be donated this Friday. It's a fantastic way to lead our community and engage citizenship as we approach Thanksgiving. Few quick highlights from our middle school. Our seventh graders are in Colonial Williamsburg right now for their annual 4-day, 3-night trip that coincides beautifully with the seventh grade social studies curriculum. Shout out to all of the teachers, everyone who's there chaperoning. It's yeoman's work. And to honor breast cancer awareness last month, the PTA had donated mini pumpkins that the sixth graders in advisory painted pink, and they arranged them in a formation of a large pink bow on the front yard, which was really a beautiful acknowledgement of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. On October 30th, Joe had brought in the Assistant District Attorney, Matthew Reno, and Assistant DA, Laura Forbes, and they spoke to both our students and to families in the evening about internet safety in our effort to continue to educate our families and our students. Just last week, our middle school students engaged in a World Kindness Week challenge. In the spirit of giving and being thankful, our students performed kind acts for others and reflected on kind acts that were bestowed on them. A few quick comments in the high school. We are celebrating our student athletes who had completed quite an impressive fall season. It included girls soccer making it to the state semifinals, and they played extremely well to the end. Boys soccer made it to the sectional semifinals, had a great season. Football team went undefeated until the sectional final. They played well down to the last seconds of that game. Field hockey made it to the section finals, pushing the game to overtime. Cross country, both girls and boys finished second in New York State. Girls tennis made it to the sectional semifinals. Swim and dive athletes competed in sectionals, and our own Fiona Barr is off to the state finals today to compete in the butterfly and backstroke. In addition, we had 3 student athletes heading to college to play Division I. Amy Villanueva for women's lacrosse at Bucknell, Davis Patterson for indoor and outdoor track at Davidson, and Wyatt Gravier for indoor and outdoor track, specifically the high jump and hurdles at UConn. And I'd be remiss not to mention board member Pete McSherry's son Matthew, who will be playing football at Amherst in the fall. Congratulations. Our SFL will be sponsoring the 2nd annual school-wide spelling bee next Wednesday. I'll be a judge. I won't be participating. Our PTA Arts Council is collaborating with the Art Council to offer a Career in the Arts Night at the Bronxville Library this evening. Our Model UN Club left for Princeton today. We have 21 delegates attending and representing countries in various scenarios. And in March, our French Club will be traveling to Quebec. It is now my honor to introduce our newest student liaison to the Board of Education, Kara Kachansky. Welcome, Kara.
Thank you. So my name's Kara. I'm in 11th grade and I'm excited to be representing the high school student body this year. So we had a very successful first quarter, and these are some of the recent and upcoming activities related to the classes, the arts and athletics. And this is a bit repetitive of what was mentioned before, but several sports teams competed in their state tournaments this past weekend. So the boys and girls cross country teams both placed, and the girls soccer team ended their season at the state semifinal on Saturday. Fiona Barr will be competing for the girls swim team on tomorrow and Saturday. Varsity sports awards were yesterday to honor fall athletes on their athletic achievement, and winter sports and tryouts started on Monday. SFL will be hosting the spelling bee next Wednesday, and both teachers and students will be involved in the competition. The freshman transition program partnered with Gramerton Village to support elderly members of the community. So on Tuesday, the freshman class and its leaders came together to make holiday cards, and students will be helping to assemble meals that will be delivered with the cards next Tuesday, the 26th. The orchestra will be having a concert on December 10th, the Tuesday, and the dates for the Mamma Mia musical are February 6th to the 8th. The grade leaders have been very active since the last meeting, so the freshmen are currently collecting gifts in advance of Thanksgiving to make sure they wrap them in time for the Andrews holiday party. The sophomores had a car wash last month, and in December they will be doing a veterans gift drive. They are also working on ideas for a bake sale and a hot chocolate de-stressor. The juniors had their mock ACT and mock SAT. They had a class car wash in October and are planning a de-stressor in December. And finally, the seniors will be having a de-stressor on Tuesday the 26th, and they submitted their early decision applications on November 1st.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Should I?
Should you may be excused if
Thank
you'd like
you.
to go home?
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks for coming.
Thanks, Kara.
We're on to personnel. Dr. Kelly.
Great, thank you. So there are a number of items before the board this evening. We had ample time in executive session to cover them. They include leave replacements, resignations, as well as a side letter negotiated with the clerical unit. So you have before you items A through W to consider.
I have a motion to approve the personnel action.
So
item.
moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Dan, I think we're moving to you
Yep.
on financial.
Yeah, as we're still digesting the impact of the BTA settlement, I'm not yet projecting any surplus from salary lines, but I'm fairly comfortable with where overall expenditures are looking at this point for the full year. But, you know, not yet comfortable enough to project a surplus from expenditures, as we're still dealing with the impact of the last few inflationary years. But the good news is that we've had no anomalous incidents, you know, flooding or other major facilities issues. The bad news is our enrollment is surprisingly high and resulted in an additional section in the elementary school that we're absorbing. But for the second year in a row, revenues are looking really strong. You know, interest rates are still up, although not as high as last year, but we're still getting some decent yield. And tuition students from out of district, we're collecting, you know, over budget on those.
Okay.
So, you know, and, you know, we've turned some students down in the elementary school this year where we don't have room. But if we have room, we consider tuition students.
Does this projection reflect some of the efficiencies we've been working on in the private school transportation
Yes.
area? It does, okay.
Yeah, well, you know, it's still, private school transportation is still expensive.
Yes.
So it's, you know, we're saving a little, not a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Dan?
And in the transfers, we've moved some money over to grounds upkeep. Is that connected to the beautification? What is that for?
Yes, a little bit, because the plan for some of the, which you'll see where we are a little bit later during the facilities update, but for the Board of Ed portion of those expenditures, where we split some of those between last year and this year.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were fortunate enough in that we were able to pay our retirement incentive out of funds from last year. So we had a little available money to transfer into there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I do have some financial action items.
Mhm.
There's 3 of them. We have a special education services contract with behavior analysts for direct and indirect behavior analytic and behavior intervention services. It's just a typical special education contract that when we can't perform a service ourselves or somebody else can do it better than us, we contract with people to do it. B is the aforementioned foundation grant from the Harris Fund for History for the printing of the book Profiling Local Veterans. And then C, authorizing execution of legal services for special education with Bond, Shenik and King. We have a retainer with Keen and Bean for general counsel, and then we use Bond Shenik because of probably a 30-year relationship with them and their effectiveness in special education. And we use them basically on an hourly basis. It's not a retainer. So we have an updated agreement with them that we need to execute.
Okay. Any questions for Dan about these?
What is the Learn Well?
Learn Well is when we have a student hospitalized, we are still required to provide tutoring for a secondary age student. It's 15 hours a week. And so Learn Well is the company that contracts with the hospital. So then we engage with a contract with Learn Well because they will be providing the tutoring to our hospitalized student.
Okay. Is that so that's not a new vendor, we've used them before?
We've only used them before if we've had a child in that hospital before.
Okay.
So it's really which company contracts with the hospital, and then we contract with that company.
Okay.
We have used Learn Well before.
Okay.
Thanks for picking that up. That one missed my list.
And are any of these other vendors new vendors?
No, behavior analysts we've been with.
We've used before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bond Shenik we've been
You
with
just
for
said,
forever.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. And of course, we're grateful for the foundation, again, for, I know we're gonna vote on this now, but for all that they do, and certainly for this special grant.
It's a powerful partner to have.
It is a powerful partner. It's a special project related to the Harris Fund for History, I guess they call it, for the high school juniors profiling those local veterans. So thank you again. Motion to approve items A through C.
A through
E?
A through D, actually. I just changed it.
Thank you. You changed it to you. I sort of went A, B, C, E. I was a little thrown off there. All right. Motion to approve items A through D.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Dan, I think we're moving on to facilities.
Yes, we're expecting a few proposals tomorrow for construction management services related to the next project that we're expecting to put before the voters as early as May of 2025. The facilities committee and the consulting architects will evaluate the proposals and interview a few finalists over the next month or so. And we'll also continue to refine our needs for the next project over that period of time. You have the landscape renovation slide there, Connie? We've continued with our landscape renovation. You know, they were very busy out there over the last week or so. You know, and thanks to our partners on this, the PTA has been unbelievable. They've got into planting of shrubs and flowers. I can't wait for spring. And with this slide, I want to show the board and the taxpayers how the district, the PTA, and the village came together to substantially improve that space over the last 8 months. As you can see by the totals, we've completed about $484,000 worth of work, and we paid out about, and when I say we, I mean the PTA, our own maintenance budget, and the village has paid out about $576,000 thus far. The PTA in the village of Bronxville contribute about 60% of the project, with the PTA alone picking up almost half. We've used available funds in the facilities budget, as I mentioned, over the course of the last year and this year for the balance, and we'll either use further donations, because we're expecting one more from the PTA at least. They have a fundraiser scheduled for later in the month, and we're more available funds either at the close of this year or the beginning of next year to cover the rest. You know, we think it's made a big difference. I think with safety out on Pondfield Road, with the wider sidewalk and the hedgerow kind of acting as a fence a little bit. And again, I can't wait to see the colors on what's going to be outside in the spring. And you know, we haven't had rain for about almost 2 months. And this is the kind of rain we like here. Nice little steady rain all day long. It's great. No issues. Knock on wood. But you know, the last few years we've had at least one incident over the summer or the fall that either set us back a little bit or had us worrying. Not so this fall, really. So we're really happy about that. I think you know, it took a long time, you know, from 2007, when the concept of the pumps, you know, was first born, to when they were designed, installed, and then in the last 3 or 4 years, us learning really how to use them and what else we can do to protect the building. And I think we're in a sweet spot now, and I don't want to jinx it.
No, stop jinxing that.
Could I just ask a couple questions, Dan?
Sure.
First of all, when you say deferred, I see 3 items are deferred. Does that mean indefinitely deferred, or you're considering it 5 years from now, 2 years? What
They
does that
were
mean?
on the original plan, but
Mhm.
we're still up in the air as to whether to do them.
Okay.
You know, we're not sure we need sidewalks or rock pathways in those areas. We're not sure what we want to do yet.
Okay. So that'll be just something the facilities
Yeah.
committee will come back and discuss. Okay.
Exactly.
The other one is, have you quantified the cost of maintenance with all the new landscaping improvements we've made? I mean, what maintenance has cost the school up to this point, and how it's impacted going forward?
Well, both Monty's given us the first year.
Right. I
So
see that, yeah.
we're gonna do a competitive bid.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if we're going out.
You know, we're gonna have to advertise it, and Mike Lee will work on those specifications, probably with Monty, because, you know, they
Of course.
planted, they're gonna know what it's gonna take to maintain them.
Mhm.
We'll advertise it and,
Okay.
you know, see how that, I'll
Okay,
let
but
the
we haven't
board
done
know
any
when that's done.
projections on what that increase cost might be? Not suggesting you should have
Yeah,
done it, I'm just
I
wondering if
have
we
no
have.
idea offhand.
Okay, that's fine. I don't
Because
need to
it's
guess.
not only that, when we go out to bid, we're not only gonna do that, we're probably gonna include around the back of the building, you know, the plantings that were done, you know, they just get overgrown. We got one maintenance guy,
Okay.
and it's just too much, one outdoor maintenance guy, and it's too much for him.
Okay.
So we're gonna include some more, because, you know, we can't have the front looking this good. And I don't know if you know, Meadow Avenue over the summer was looking pretty shabby.
Right.
Good thing everybody was out of town.
Okay.
And I don't want it to look that way.
Other questions for Dan about this? Eddie, anything to add? Nothing?
Nope, Dan's spot on. I will add that, again, just to reiterate, the PTA was super generous and helpful with this. It could not be done without them. Current leadership, past leadership, and all the members of the PTA, and all the community members that contribute to the PTA. It's tangible. You can see it. It's hopefully going to last 100 years. It's something the whole community can enjoy. Current students, alumni, families. So we think it was a great cause, and we're looking forward to the spring pop of color too, Jan. It's gonna look pretty impressive.
Okay,
Reflects the good work that goes on the inside of the building as well.
thank you. Okay, any other
And
comments? Yeah.
I think also on the agenda were the notice of annual fire inspections.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get our certificate of occupancy each year, and for our areas. And the way we do that is Eastchester Fire comes in and does a fire inspection every year. We send that up to the state. They send us the COs every year, and that was done. So we're required to post annual notice, and this is that.
Legal notice
Legal
goes
notice.
out, will go out tomorrow, and the COs are available in the office for.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna move to policy update. Pete, Rachel, you wanna?
Thanks. This was a policy actually the board had approved rather recently. And right after the board approved it, the state came down with an amendment. So you have before you the rights of employees to express breast milk in the workplace. The update was required to align with recent changes in New York labor law. It really has no impact on us because we were not docking any mother's pay while they were pumping in school. But now that is a requirement that mothers who are employees and need to express breast milk during the day get paid. And we were doing that. So this is before you again, and it would be a first reading.
Okay.
And I'm shocked, when you read the changes, I'm shocked with the initial policy they came out with.
Mm-hmm.
How can you possibly limit someone to a certain period of time and you're not gonna pay them? I'm
Yeah.
shocked New York State would have that, so this update is, the way it should have originally been written.
And
Right.
certainly follows our past practice.
Okay, even though it's first reading, I think we need a motion to approve the resolution
That's right.
to go ahead with the first reading. Motion,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Okay, Dan, I think we're back to you on some other action items. Am I correct? Yeah, transportation, I believe.
Oh, there's a transportation settlement with a student who's attending another public school. We're just making arrangements to get them off a bus and onto a different mode of transportation, which is utilizing Metro North.
Okay. All right, I don't believe we need a motion.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, Connie. This is why you're here. We do need a motion. How dare I? Can I get a motion to approve this transportation agreement?
Second.
Sarah
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Well, we're really at the finish line. Look at this, 7:56. Bam. Oh.
Tight ship you're on, Michael.
No, Rachel whispered to me the Steelers are on at 15, so
Are they on
get
again?
it moving.
Tonight? What time?
8:15. She's
We're good, we're good.
We're okay.
tight. All right, why don't we go to board committee reports? Eddie, I think we got some safety.
Health and safety
Health and
met.
safety, yeah.
Yeah, everything is good. The building, all the systems are working just the way they're supposed to. We got an update from the Bronxville Police Department. All the kids are behaving. Fire alarm, fire drills went off without a hitch. We've got an early dismissal test, I guess we would call it, right, coming up. What else do we have? Facilities. So, I don't want to name any names, but there is a concert coming up, Bronxville Alumni Band Concert, the night after Thanksgiving. The proceeds are going to go to the PTA to help replenish their coffers after the generous donations for the landscaping. There have been some threats made, though. If board members do not buy tickets
We'll be there.
and
Eddie.
or attend, we will have to publicly out you and shame you, because I will have the list of who bought them and who didn't.
So noted.
Any
Okay.
administrators or teachers that want to attend, it would be great to see you guys there. I know Dan is planning on breaking out the old hacksaw.
No, can't do it.
No?
Oh, come on.
Send a video or something? No?
Eddie, I
So
believe the
that's-
benefit, the band that's being featured are all Bronxville
Old
alums?
Bronxville, yeah, 90% Bronxville
90%,
alumni.
okay.
Yep. Current teacher, right, is Dan Martin's going to be there. His brother Ed, both Bronxville alum. It's a great show. It's a Grateful Dead cover band. So it's going to be 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, Friday night, November 29th. We hope to see everybody there.
Women's
Which
Club.
is 1 week from
Please spread
tomorrow.
the word. Bear's Choice is the name of the band.
Also includes alum John Leslie and Drew Contessa.
John
I think.
Leslie, Drew Contessa, perhaps Emily Leslie. Yeah.
That's right.
And Eddie will be singing. as part
We're
of all
trying to
this.
sell tickets, not discourage people from coming. Thank you, thank you.
And
Eddie?
if I'm not mistaken, sorry, if I'm
Go.
not mistaken, I believe they've advertised that the proceeds will go to continue to
Yeah.
support the front.
All the proceeds will go to their commitment to finish off the front of the school, which is pretty much done. So,
Amazing.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun night.
Let's do it. We'll
Hope
be
to see
there.
everyone there.
Eddie, while we're with you, you have anything on the foundation?
Foundation fundraising drive is open. As mentioned earlier, foundation contributes a ton to the school, things that we otherwise would not be able to afford. So please consider donating to the Bronxville School Foundation. It's an invaluable resource that we're all fortunate to have, and they're extremely generous with what they do for us. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pete, I know audit committee met. I don't know if you have anything to add from what we've already discussed.
Well, Eddie stole my thunder on the PTA. I was going to talk about the Friday after that.
Do it twice, it's fine.
Well, Dan Martin's a former neighbor and a friend, and I've seen the band 5 or 7 times. They're
Wow,
very good.
okay. All right.
They're excellent.
You travel with them, is what you're saying.
Well, it's they're a Grateful Dead cover band. I'm
You're
a
a
Dead
group?
fan.
Are you a groupie? Is this what we're hearing
Well,
here?
he's a
Little
neighbor,
bit?
so I give
Yeah.
music all the time. A former neighbor. Jen Heathwood had the high school council meeting this Tuesday. It was excellent. It's the work the PTA does is amazing. The generosity all around the school, and especially over the past 6 months in the front of the building, is amazing. And just a fantastic group of people donating their time.
Thank
One
you.
more thing on the foundation, the Katie Welling Memorial Run, Walk Run is going to be Saturday, November 30th. That is also put on by the foundation. It's in memory of a former student. If you can't attend in person, you can take a video or a picture of yourself, send it in. It's for a great cause. Most people that are in town come out for it. So please try and join for that as well.
Thank you. All right. I invite any other board commentary at this point before we move to public comment. Anybody? Okay. We're going to go to public comment. Now, please, if there is any public comment, please state your name before doing so. Identify yourself. I don't think we have anything online.
I don't see.
Okay. Oh,
Nope.
no, thank you. Anyone here? Any other public comment? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Again, lots of apologies for the delayed start, but boom, ending right on time.
There we go.
Have a great night. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.